I'm going to do a little bit differently today, a little dialogue in the beginning at least. A lot of you remember this. But as we look at that, a lot of the surprises are because we have in our minds, certain ideas about people. We assume a lot of things about the world around us. And as one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Neville, likes to talk about, that we live in an imaginal world. Meaning that we make connections and we make assumptions and we imagine things in our world. And as we do, we imagine them and we provide meaning for things. I mean, you provide meaning to the music, meaning to the type of car, meaning to the dress of both of them, meaning to a lot of different things. And as we provide meaning, that is the world that we create. That is the world that we find ourselves walking in. We find ourselves walking in imaginal worlds. Those things that we create, when we talk about, we create our thoughts create our reality. What meaning we assign to things, we ultimately act based on those meanings. And as we act based on those meanings, that's what we get more of. If we think that the world is a harsh place, an unfriendly place, then we will walk around seeing people that are harsh and unfriendly. And even when people are trying to do otherwise, we very often will take their actions and the things that they do as evidence and more of a reflection of harsh and unkind and mean things. And then every now and then we'll get surprised because we'll let it in for a moment and something will happen that's unlike what we originally had imagined the world to be, and then we are surprised, and we'll call it miracles, or we'll call it something, outside of the ordinary. But it's because we in our minds attach meanings to things. And so this month we have been exploring the idea that it works if you work it. And one of the things we've said over and over again is about the mental diet, if you will. That if we want to really, really be able to have that imaginal world reflect the kinds of things that we want to have, then we have to be careful about our thoughts. We have to be careful about our thoughts. We have to pay attention to what it is that we're thinking. Because what happens is that so often we feel as if we are having thoughts, but our thoughts are having us.
Teach.
I'm going to say that again. We feel like oftentimes we are having thoughts, but our thoughts are having us. And if I was in another kind of church, they say amen right there. And so when we're not careful, then the world in which we wish to live and the things we wish to see, we get pulled out of that because we are not careful to understand that we are not our thoughts. And the thing of it is that there are triggers, if you will, that can take us out of that can pull us away from living the life that we wish to live and living and walking in the imaginal world that we wish to do those things. First of all, there are people. Have mercy, somebody. That all of us know that sometimes it seems like it might be the same person just expressing in everybody's life, it's a different person, but they're expressing the same. But there are people who can work our last nerve. Amen. And we allow that to happen because we assign certain meaning, because first of all, we assign validation of who we are to the outside rather than getting it from the inside. And we hear things, and people say things, and people do things, and we imagine things. And as we do that, we find ourselves in a world of anxiety, a world of fear, a world of poverty, a world of hatred. All of those things because we are looking outside of ourselves for validation. And what happens when we do that? We are giving our power away. Because the power, again, to create the world in which we wish to live is in us. Because we are God in expression, and the power that creates worlds is available to us. And when we allow that to express itself, and when we are careful about those things, then we can move in a way and move in such a manner that it expresses for us, and we have that which we desire. And so it's important to do this exercise. I've been working more and more doing this exercise. And the basic of it is that when you see or you hear or you experience certain things happening, just saying to yourself, it doesn't mean what I think it means. It doesn't mean what I think it means. And some of y'all can relate to this because as you get a little bit older, there are occasionally some aches and pains that will creep up, and you are walking up the steps, or you are getting out of bed, or did I walk down somebody's street, or you are doing whatever, and that little pain will come. And the first thing that we begin to do is we think, well, it's because I'm getting older, or it's because, I don't take care of myself like I ought to, or all kinds of things, without recognizing and realizing that if we would stop attaching papancha? Papancha meaning that our mind is like a runaway train. The papancha train gets started up and goes hurtling down the track. And all of a sudden, that one little ache, that one little twinge, that one little whatever suddenly becomes these horrific diseases and conditions and illnesses and everything else, and all because of that one thing. And if we would just say simply, it doesn't mean what I think it means, and allow the wisdom that is within us. If it's something we need to know, the wisdom that is in us will tell us. But rather than us getting caught up in all of a sudden those thoughts, if people say things, sometimes people, again, the ones that work that last nerve, will say something to you. There's something that somebody else could say the very exact same thing, and it would not matter in the least. But because we've given that power away, and they say it to us, oh, we're ready to fight now. But more importantly than that, we suddenly allow it to affect our feelings about who we are. And because we allow it to affect our feelings about who we are, then we find ourselves all up in conflict and all up in drama and all up in all kinds of other things and all this and that. But simply, again, we can just let that be them. Because, the book that I love is that what you think about me is none of my business. That when we take that to heart, we have to just let other people just be. And if they have certain opinions about us, the thing of this that I've discovered in life, I don't know about you, I've discovered in life, is that when a lot of times when people have formed certain opinions and ideas and everything else about you, whatever kind of evidence you might give to the contrary, ain't gonna matter. So you just have to live your life and be who you is, be who you are. And allow, again, because we live in this wonderful, imaginal world, just allow it to unfold and not get caught up in the drama and worrying about other things. And one of the big things we have to do is, because we live in a world now that capitalizes on that kind of drama. If you are involved with social media at all, and you go online, or you don't have to be involved with social media, you turn on the television, and people will make mountains out of molehills. They will take one little incident or one little sentence or one little thing and explode them, and suddenly everything is revolving around that. And the thing of it is that we can get caught up in that, and that can begin to affect our days. It can begin to affect how we view life. It can begin to affect how we do things because we get caught up. So it's important to understand, once again, we are not our thoughts. We are not our thoughts. We are separate from our thoughts, and we can stand in a space, in a place of understanding, and recognize and realize that we have the key. We have the power to walk in the state that we so desire. As the scripture reminds us, as a person thinks in their heart, so is he or she. The original verse says, a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But I like to be inclusive. As a person thinks in their heart, so is he or she. And when we are able to do that, when we are able to take that to heart, when we are able to begin our day with a measure of seeing ourselves in the space that we wish to be, being the person that we wish to be, recognizing and realizing that, starting our day in that way, and being in that way throughout the day, and noticing, paying attention to those things that pull us out, paying attention to that when we see that person approach us that could work our last nerve. When we turn on television or log on or whatever else, and we see something coming up, be able to pull back for a moment. And then pull back, say, that ain't my reality. That's not who I am. I'm going to just let that be. And when we're able to do that, when we're able to step into that, then we begin changing our state and changing our situation. And after a while, in many cases, we won't even have to deal with that anymore. We won't have to deal with the person that works our last nerve. They can try all they want to. Try. Do all you want to do, say all you want to say, because I know who I am. And I stay in that space. And I cling to that space. And I understand that space. And as I do so, all begins to unfold the way that I wish to. That I am in control. That I am this place and this space where magnificence and beauty and love and joy and creativity and just dynamic things just unfold because I am that space. And when we understand what that means, then we become powerful. We become the people that we often talk about that we wish to be. We are that. We are already that. It's just allowing it to come forth. It's allowing it to be. It's keeping all of that other stuff out and being who we are. So today, my assignment to you is that as you take a moment when you go home and sit in your house for a moment, you might turn the television or radio or something off for a moment and just listen to the sounds around. Tell yourself, it doesn't mean what I think it means. You see something, like the video, it doesn't mean what I think it means. You feel something in your body or sensation, it doesn't mean what I think it means. And it's not about trying to deny anything or this or that, but what it is doing, it is separating you from your thoughts. And when you separate yourself from your thoughts, you start to give yourself some room in which the divine expresses itself, in which God emerges in new ways and in new opportunities and in new experiences and in new things. And it just reminds me of that song that talks about, morning by morning, new mercies I see. But when we allow ourselves to do that, the world of infinite possibilities opens itself up. So will you do that for me today and tomorrow and next week? That's your assignment. Yes. Yes. We've got some teachers in here and all about assignments and everything. And it's not busy work, but it's something that can transform life. Make it just powerful. That's my truth.